Hello guys, welcome back. In this Kotlin tutorial, we are going to learn about while loops, which are essential control statements. We will explore how to use loops and some practical example when while loops are important. So without further ado, let's get started. So the while loops repeatedly execute the statements in the loop body until the condition evaluates to false. It's different from if statements which execute a statement only once. So let's see here an example. We are going to declare a variable and we are going to call this count and we are going to assign this to 0. So let's write here a while. So this keyword here means that we are writing here a while loop. So we're going to provide inside these brackets here the condition. So for example, we are going to provide a condition while the condition is less than 10. For example, let's give this 10. So when the count is less than 10, we are going to print this statement. So for example, here we are going to print Now we are going to print this welcome to the while loop, and don't forget here to increment. So meaning that this is the loop body inside these two curly braces. So we are going to execute this statement until when this condition is false. So it's going to increase this. Here the count is 0 and here we are incrementing it. So the condition is going to be false if this is going to be 11. So it's going to increment this until 11 here and it's going to print out. So let's try here and relearn our application and see how it's going to execute our code. Now, as you can see here, it has executed welcome to the while loop 10 times. So let's also print here another statement here outside the while loop. So we are going to call this println. So we are going to print here the number of counts. And let's try to rerun our application and see. So this is going to execute this 10 times first, and then it's going to execute the statement after. Now, as you can see here, it has executed the loop body 10 times and then it has executed the statement after. So this is the basics of the while loop. Let's see here another example. So for example, if we delete all of these, we're going to declare here, for example, another variable, and we're going to call this sum, and we are going to assign this to 0. Also, we are going to declare another variable, and we are going to call this I, and we are going to assign this to 1. Now we are going to enter in the while loop here, and we are going to provide a condition if I is less than 10. Also, let's try here to sum here the number. So if we want to sum a number, we are going to use this simple logic. Now let's try here and print our sum. And now let's access the number is. Let's try to rerun our application here and see how it's going to execute. This loop is going to execute to infinity because we have forgotten to increment this variable here. So it's not going to print this statement after here. So let's cancel first this, and we are going to increase this I, and we have to increment it so that it's going to reach this condition where it is false. So let's try and relearn our application. Now, as you can see here, it has printed the sum is 45 because here we are going to add this number incrementally by adding the number here. So it has got the number which is 45. So as you have seen here, you have to be careful when writing loops. It is more prone to write an infinite loop that execute forever. So as you have seen here, let's try to provide here a variable. So let's call this, and let's assign this to 1. So we are going here to iterate here while count is going to be greater than 0. And this is called an infinite loop. So we are going to iterate over and over and over again. So let's see here. Let's try and relearn our application. So this is an infinite loop. It's going to print all over. As you can see here, it's going very fast. So if you enter in this condition, you have to press this button here to stop the condition execution because we have entered the while loop, which is infinity. So you must be careful when writing these loops. So let's see here a simple example on how we are going to find a divisor of a number, a smallest divisor other than 1 of a certain number. So let's declare here, for example, a random number. So we are going to call this number, and we are going to use the kotlin object here, and we are going to call the next int, and we are going to limit this to 100 until 100. So now let's go and use we declare here the val divisor, and we are going to assign this to 2 because we want the divisor greater than 1 other than 1. So we are going to start with 2 here. So let's enter in a while loop. So we are going to use the mod operator here to find if this number is going to divide this wholly. So we are going to use the divisor, the mod operator here, and we are going to use the divisor. If you don't know how to use the mod operator, I have a video talking about this mod operator and how to use it. I will link it in the description here. Now if you get this, we are going to assign here if not equal to 0, meaning that we are going to divide this number. If it's not going to be equal to 0, we're going to continue to execute this, and we are going to, so we have to increment the divisor until we get a number which is dividing this number here, and we are going to print here. Now let's print here the Now let's try and run our application and see how it's going to execute our code. Now as you can see here, the divisor of 62 is going to be 2. So let's try to rerun again here and see another example if you're going to get that is not divisible by 2. As you can see here, it has given us 63 which is divisible by 3. So meaning that we are going to iterate here, and let's get here a number. That number, for example here, let's try to rerun our application here and see the device of this number. Now as you can see here, 173, the smallest divisor is 173 because there is no n number which is going to divide this number until it's finished to 0. So this was the shortest way on how you can use these while loops, and they are really essential in your programming. So if you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing and provide that like button. See you in the next video. Thank you.